Welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the event calendar plugin by Tribe and their ticketing by Tribe as well to hack it in a way where you can have ticket prices based upon whether or not you are logged in as a member to your WordPress website or not. So we're going to have people who are not subscribed or not a member to our WordPress site get one pricing, and those who are and have a membership get a different pricing. So first things first, I have a demo site here and I'm logged into my WordPress dashboard, and there's some plugins that I'm going to first need to install. This is doing it completely from scratch, so you might have some of these plugins already or different plugins, but that's okay. The main plugins that we're going to have are going to be the events calendar. So I'm going to go to plugins, I'm going to click add new, and then from here I'm going to search for a couple plugins. I'm going to search for the events calendar. You can see I already have it in my search recently. It's going to pop up here, and I'm going to see these items. I want to install the events calendar plugin, and I also want to install this one over here, event tickets by the events calendar, by the company Tribe that creates this plugin here. And I'm going to install this now. This is going to allow us to be able to use PayPal to have it where an individual can pay. So I'm going to go ahead and click activate on this one now that it's done. Let's go ahead and hit cancel. I want to make sure that this one is done first. It's in there. So let's go ahead and click activate on this events calendar plugin. I am going to skip right now. This is for demo purposes. I'm going to skip, and then this is set up. I also am going to go back to my plugins here, and I want to make sure I activate my event ticket plugin here. All right, and then hit skip as well. So we're not done yet with the events tickets. What we're going to have to do is go into our settings here on this left-hand side, and I am going to click on payments. So payments, I'm going to need to enable the payment. So I'm going to go ahead and click enable, and I'm going to hit save. And this should reload the page. But the next step is that if you're doing this on a live site and you want payments enabled, you're going to have to connect with your PayPal unless you do the Events Calendar Pro, which gives you different types of payments. But we're going to just continue with the PayPal, and I'm not going to actually connect a PayPal account. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click this enable test mode that you see here, this little checkbox. This is going to allow it so that way I can do tests. If I don't, it's going to give me an error, and it's not going to actually let me add items to my cart. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Advanced. I'm going to open up a new tab just so we have this here, because I'm going to do some other settings items, and I'm going to click add new. And I'm going to create my test event, and I'm going to set a date down below for all day, and let's do sometime in the future. And I should see here, now that we have this tickets enabled, I should see this ticket section here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click add new ticket, and I am going to create a new ticket for a non-member, and I'm going to give it a price of, let's say, $100. I'm going to hit save ticket. Then I'm going to create another one, and I'm going to say member, and I am going to have it be a price of, let's say, $50. I want to give a membership discount, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to publish this ticket or this event, and I'm going to test it by opening it up in a new tab. You can see here that I have my wonderful test page with my different tickets. All right, so this is the default version, right, where I have the tickets and I can see both of them. But what I want to do is I want to make it so that only individuals that are logged in will see this member pricing, and those who are not logged in will see this non-member pricing. And let's have some button here that says, hey, like, click here to log in, or log in to get member pricing, some sort of text that says that. How am I going to do this? Well, first things first is I actually am not going to use the base WordPress installation for membership. I want to add an additional plugin that I really like. I am going to go back into my plugins here, and I'm going to add in a new one called Ultimate Member. So let's search for Ultimate Member. Ultimate Member is a membership system. It doesn't allow for payments of memberships. You have to do some add-ons for that, but this is for the base. It allows you to have a way to register. So let's go ahead and click install, and what I mean by that, and then we'll go ahead and click activate here. You might already have something like this. Then you'll see a button here that says, hey, we need to create these pages. I'm going to go ahead and hit create pages. This is going to create a login page and all sorts of different pages like so. So what does this do? Let's go ahead and let's open up the front end of our site. So I'm going to open up a new tab, so many tabs, and I'm going to hit enter. So you'll see here now that I have all of these new items in my menu. It adds it by default. I have here a page that's an account page. This is going to take me to my Ultimate Member account so I can set some account information. Let's go ahead and open up a private window. This is opening up on my other screen. Bear with me while I drag this over here. So now we're currently not logged in. So if I go ahead and I click on the login button, you'll see that it's going to take me to a login page that isn't the default WP-admin that we're so used to. The logout, this is, you can make it where if you're not logged in, it doesn't show this. There's ways to do that, but this isn't that tutorial. And they also have this register page where you can register and you can create an account. Okay, so the next step that I want to do is I'm going to do a little bit of more configuration for this account. I'm going to go to user roles here. I'm going to go ahead and click add new role, and I'm going to create one called member. And then it has all these different items in here, which is really cool. You can take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of keep the default one, but I just want to show you that Ultimate Member is an amazing plugin. I highly recommend it. And let's go ahead and create role. Awesome. So this is a membership role. What we're going to do is we're going to have it so when a person registers, let's say on this register page, they are going to be added to this user role, which is member. So right now I don't have any members. All right, so the next thing I need to do is I need to go into my settings. I believe it's under access. If I can't find it here really quickly, we're gonna hop into another one. And let's go ahead. Nope. Let's go back to general. Users. I'm going to disable this member directory. So what that does is it allows people to see all the different members that are signed up. It's kind of like where you can create a Facebook type of experience, but we don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and click that and hit save, which I did. And then is there any other items here that I need to change? Let's click on access real quick again. Click on other. And no, it looks like we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to next go to here. We're going to click on forms. One last thing. And I'm going to click on default registration. This is this registration here, so you can see that it has a first name, last name, email, password, which I have here, this first name, last name, email, password. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on customize this form. I'm going to click yes, and I'm going to change this role to member, hit update, like so. Awesome, so I have this here, and now what's going to happen is when someone registers, it's going to add them to this this member role. Great. All right, so now we have the basis to be able to continue and to make it so that way if a person is already signed up and they log in, then they can see a different pricing. So how are we going to do that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom plugin. Now, the events calendar, they say that you can do this in the theme. So you have themes here. They say that you can do all this customization in the theme. I highly don't recommend that, because what ends up happening is if you change your theme to something else, let's say I'm in 2022 and I change it to 2020, or 2022 and I change it to 2020 theme, then all my functionality is going to be lost. So I'm going to put it as a plugin. So we're going to create a custom plugin. So how I'm going to do that, I am going to come in here and I'm on a Mac, I'm going to click I'm going to say new folder, and I'm going to say custom events plugin. And what we're going to do is we're going to override some things in the events calendar plugin and the event ticket plugin. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this is my terminal here, and this is going to be kind of just a fancy way to open up an IDE, which is a text editor. So if you don't have that, then you'll want to look into that. But let's go here. I'm going to go to plugins, and I'm going to go to CD custom events plugin ls, and I'm just going to go code. Period. So all this is doing is this is opening my VS Code. VS Code is an IDE. It's a text editor that allows you to edit files. So there's other ways to open this IDE. That's just the way I do it. Okay. So next thing I'm gonna do is in here. This is in my text editor. I'm gonna create a new file, And I'm going to call it the same exact thing that I called my plugin, which is events custom or custom events dash plugin.php. So let's create that. And you'll see over here, it's just creating in this folder, it's creating a plugin file. So what I'm going to do is I am going to first start by registering a plugin. The way you do that in PHP is you start PHP, and then you're going to do a block comment. So it's going to be this slash and then star star. And then I'm going to say something, let's call it like plugin. Well, I have to. Plugin name, custom events plugin. And say description. This plugin overrides the events calendar defaults. Then hit save like this. And so what should end up happening is if I go back to my site and I click on plugins, I should now see over here a new plugin called custom events plugin and then my description here. I'm gonna go ahead and click activate on this one, and that's gonna activate this code that I have here, which is amazing. So good. All right, so a couple things I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a line of code here that says if not defined WP Inc. I am going to then put the mustache brackets and hit die. So this code, what it does is essentially is if you try to access this directly, it's going to kill this script so you can't. Awesome. So far, so good. All right, so the next step is that I actually have in here some amazing code developed by other developers. This one's from Clifford P, and this one is nope, that's not the right one. Let's see. This is same guy. Awesome. So he created two different pieces of code that we can add that's going to allow us to essentially override and create a plugin. So the first one is I'm going to go to this one here, and I'm going to copy all this code. Thank you, Clifford. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paste it like so. And then I have another one, another link here. This is slightly different. And I'm going to copy all this. And then I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go back to the bottom of this, and I'm going to paste it. And let's go ahead and open this file and see what the heck is going on. All right. So what he was able to write for us is he wrote us a function that essentially what it does is it's going to override, it's a filter. So Tribe has a filter, the events calendar. So if you see Tribe, that's the events calendar. That's the company that made it. They have a filter that allows us to override some things. And what we're going to do is we're going to override the templates. And there's two different templates that the Events Tribe has. Let's take a look at this. They're going to have some, if I go in here and I go into SRC, and I go to, I think it's views, there's going to be this version 2. So this is what all of this first code is doing, is it's allowing us to override all the files within this version 2. And then we also want to be able to override some other files, like let's say this event single, which we'll take a look at. We want to override this one too. And so that's what this second piece of code is so you can take a look at it and you can kind of read what they say about it. Right, so essentially what we're going to do is we're going to be able to recreate some files and be able to override, which is awesome. And so this is all the logic for it. It's really interesting how they do it, but we won't spend too much time into that. So let's go ahead now and let's set it up so that way we can override some items. The first item that I want to override is actually going to be within the events ticket. And it is going to be within the SRC, and it's going to be in views, and it's going to be in blocks, and it's going to be in tickets, and it is going to be in this one right here, item. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to actually drag and drop this into my IDE. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to click open, so you'll notice that my path is different here. I just need this file's information. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we are going to go in back over here, and I'm going to come, let's do it over here so we can see what's going on. I am going to go into my custom events ticket, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder called tribe. And so you'll notice that over here, tribe pops up. Then inside of that, I'm going to create a new folder called ticket, it's plural. And then I'm going to create a new folder called blocks. Then I'm going to create a new folder called tickets here. So you'll see on this right hand or left hand side that I have this folder structure. And then what I'm going to do is in my IDE, I'm going to click new file, and I'm going to name this one item.php. Why item.php? Because I'm going to be recreating this file here. So I see this item.php. Okay, enter. It's a blank file. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my item.php that has all this code in it. I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy all. And I'm going to close this file. Then I'm going to Control V into here and paste it. Awesome. And then I'm going to save it. So I see here that I have this file that has all of this text in it. And so now what you see that I did is, let's take a look at this. So they say on the front of this, it says you can override this template in your theme by creating file at your theme, tribe, events, blocks, tickets, item. So what we're doing is, again, our code is we're going to, rather than doing it in a theme, we're going to do it within this plugin. So the snippet that Clifford provided for us is it says, okay, we're going to go to tribe, tickets, blocks. So tribe, tickets, blocks, tickets, and then we have our item.php. Wonderful. All right, next step. Here comes some more magic. We are going to add this line of code here. I'm going to copy some code that I have already created, and I am going to paste it right a lot above line 67. So like this. And then I'm going to save this file. Well, actually, I need to do one more thing, and I need to go to the bottom of my file here. I'm going to start PHP, and I'm going to close it and stop it. So that was probably too fast for you, so you're going to just make sure that you need to add this at the very bottom. And then I like to indent so we can make sure it's pretty and up above. So let's go ahead and maximize this, and I can show you all of this code. So we have this if user is not logged in, and what we're going to do is we're going to search for a string. So we're going to search for a string from a lowercase. So first we're going to get the name of the ticket, and we're going to lowercase it so that way if we don't make any mistakes. And then we're going to search for something, and what we're going to search for is we're going to search for this non. And so if it's equal to non, then we're going to show something, and then we're also, but this also means that we're not logged in. And then if we are logged in, so the opposite of that is if we are logged in, we're going to show if, basically we're going to say, let me just show you how this works. Okay, let's go here. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my tickets here. So I'm going to refresh this page. So I'm logged in. I have this admin bar up here. I'm logged in as admin. You can see I have this member or non-member and then member. So let me go ahead and go open back up again this here, and let me grab this URL, and let's paste it, hit enter. Okay, so now you'll see, okay, I'm not logged in right now, right? I don't have that top bar. I haven't gone through the registration process. I haven't logged in. I can see this non-member pricing, where this one I see this member and non-member pricing. So what's going on? So let's take a look back at our events here. So what this is doing, our system is doing, is it's looking for through our tickets, and it's looking for this word non. So if it has non, meaning a non-member, and you are not logged in, it will show that item. But if it doesn't have the word non, and you are not logged in, it won't show that item. So if you are not logged in and it doesn't have the word non in it, it won't show it. Okay, so let's test it. So if I go here and I type in test, and I'm going to add in a new price, I'm going to hit 25, and I'm going to save this. Okay, so now, again, I'm not in my logged in one, right? So I have this word non-member. Let's refresh this. Oops, let's go forward. Let's refresh this. Nothing shows up, right? because the string non isn't in here. If I go over into my logged in account and I refresh this, it does show up because, again, non isn't there. So it allows it because I am logged in. I'm logged in so I can see anything that doesn't have the word non in it. Let's go ahead and try this again. Let me test this and change this one. So I'm going to recreate this. I'm going to say test and then non. So T-N-O-N-est, right? So again, this is my string non. This is the name of my ticket. So now when I refresh this, that ticket item should show up here. Because again, it is looking for this. I'm not logged in, so it's going to allow it. Okay. So meaning, if you wanted to change that to something else, like let's say, I don't know, whatever, I can change this here, and I can change this here, hit save, and then let's refresh this, let's see what happens. Nothing shows up because I don't have the string of whatever in these different items. So if you want to really test this, you can save one at a time. See what happens. Okay, so this is the logic for the back end, and then this is good for those who are logged in, and this is the logic for those who aren't logged in. There you go. All right, so now we have this set up. Now the next item that we're going to try to do is let's go ahead and see if we can add in an item here that when you are not logged in, we have something pop up here that says, hey, like, log in to get member pricing. So we were able to do that because we copied and pasted this right here. So this other snippet allows us to do some more overrides. So what overrides are we going to do? Well, what we're going to override this time is we are going to override a file here. Rather than the events ticket one, we're going to override a file in the events calendar, SRC, and we're going to go to view. And then I'm going to go to single here, and I'm going to drag and drop this over for me to copy. So you'll see here that we have override this type in the theme by creating file at events tribe single event. Awesome. So again, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back into my plugin, and in this case, rather than it being in tribe, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to create a new folder called tribe events. So I see this down here. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it single event.php. I'm going to go into my other one. I'm going to copy all this. So I'm selecting all, I'm copying all, I'm hitting Command A, Command C, and then Command V or Control if you are on the Windows world, and then I hit save, and I'm going to close out my other one here. Awesome, so let's go ahead and test this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a place, let's say up here, and I'm going to type in the word test, I'm going to hit save, and then I am going to go back to my events. And so you can see I have the word test up here, meaning that my override is working, which is great. So I'm going to undo this. I'm going to come down below, and we're going to try to find a place that is where the pricing is, which I believe is right here. So let's go ahead and hit test there, save that, refresh this page. Okay, pretty close. I think I'm one off. Let's see, is it right there? I don't know if we'll be able to get any closer than that. Okay, so we'll just do it. Let's try this. Let's go test underneath it. Refresh. Same spot. Okay, let's get a little bit closer. Let's see if we can. Trying to get it right above this tickets, so let's see, where's my test go now? That went below it. Okay, so the closest that we're going to get in this file is going to be this events meta right about here, which is fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to say start PHP. I'm going to say if, actually let's do here, if get current user does not equal, or we want it to say if it actually if it equals 0. So if they're not logged in, we're going to say echo, maybe put it in h2 tag, please log in for member pricing. Then we're going to close PHP, we're going to save this, and then let's refresh this page. So we don't see anything. The reason why we don't see anything is because we're logged in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we are going to refresh this here. And now we have please log in for member pricing. That may be a little bit much for this, theme here. Let's change this like a H4. There we go. Awesome. So we're not logged in. We can't see the pricing. So let's go ahead and clean this up. Let's go and delete this one. So if you are not logged in, you only see the non-member pricing, and then when you are logged in, you see both pricing. So then what you can do is then you can create an account. So there are a couple ways you can create an account. You can have them go to the front end of the site right here, right? And you can have them register. You can go through the registration process. And you can make sure that you sign up. And once you sign up, go to that page and you should see both of those pricing when you're logged in. Another way would also be able to go into the back end here and add a user that has the permissions. And that's the basic way to do it. So again, this is a simple way to make it so that way you can have it where if you're a member, you logged in, you get different pricing. Now, one thing is that you could continue to go across this and make this more robust. You can make it so that way if you have a different membership role, then you get different pricing based off of a membership role. There's all sorts of possibilities for that. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to me and ask me. Maybe we can work on creating a solution for you together. Also, another way, if this was just way too much for you, I'm going to be offering this for basic piece of plugin for a really cheap amount that you can purchase real quickly. Throw a couple bucks just basically for a cup of coffee, and then you can install this onto your site and you can create the same thing. And it would all comes down to this non-member, right? It's looking for the word non, and if it has the word non in it, then it's going to show it when you are not logged in. And then if it doesn't have the word non in it, it will show that pricing when you are logged in. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments, and have a wonderful day.